Last Friday on Real Time, Bill Maher had his closing thoughts thing, his big rant. And this time it was about his frustration with white liberals. I wanna give you a little taste of what he said. Here's a few of the excerpts.
There is a weird self-loathing going on among white liberals, and it's not helping anyone. Lifting up those whose society has cheated or forsaken, that's liberalism. Hating all things white is just tedious virtue signaling. You look like Justin Timberlake in Bad Teacher. The answer to mass incarceration is to stop putting undeserving blacks in prison, not to put more white people in Twitter jail. Here's my question. How many white liberals would pay actual reparations? Real money taken out of your paycheck every week. If you really feel this bad about the whole race thing, if being white is really this toxic for society, let's tax it. Let's tax whiteness.
Okay, so that went on for about 8 minutes. Those were, I tried to put in some of what I thought were the funnier lines, and a couple things there that I think a lot of people can say, yeah, I have seen people that go sort of overboard on Twitter. There's always a little bit of truth to it. I'm gonna let you go first. I'm just gonna, spoiler alert, not a big fan of the argument.
I'm not a big fan of Bill Maher either, period. Like I wish that people would stop giving him attention. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
if white people could be canceled, okay? Bill Maher, who has said the N-word, who has been xenophobic, who has spewed a bit of anti-Muslim rhetoric, would have been long gone. He still has a show, and well-meaning people are more than willing to go and sit next to him. So stop. Also, no one says being white is bad. That just minimizes everything.
Well, really fast, to be fair, he put up a selection of 4 tweets of random people on Twitter saying that they're embarrassed to be white.
Oh.
And if you can find 4 people on Twitter saying something,
not crack a smile. But no, I don't think white people should center themselves in arguments and discussions on race and how they feel about it. But it's okay to care. But nobody said being white is bad. I don't know, it's really weird. It's kind of like when a man hears a story about a terrible, toxic man and says, men suck. We don't think he means every single man in the world. It's okay. I don't think the white person who tweeted that weird tweet wants to change their skin tone. It's I don't know, just think outside of the box. I guess, I don't know what that argument was. I don't.
Well, I mean, I know what the impetus for it is. It's behind so much of what Bill Maher says. It is fear that something he joked about is going to get him canceled in some fashion. That he's going to get canceled from doing a show at a college or something like that. It's always
he's immune.
Exactly. If you're a comedian and you reach a certain age, you're eventually gonna become whatever that is.
People who fight against the things that he has said and done on his show still go and talk to him.
Yeah.
Still give his show a bigger platform.
As I've said, I'll go on it. I'll still go on it. It's a big show. A lot of people watch it.
This is corny. That was such a weird argument, and it's unnecessary. Nobody and listen, nobody wants to pay for reparations. No white people want extra money coming out of their check. Nobody wants to pay for health care either. The thing is that reparations is about the big head start that all the white supremacy that helped create this country gave to white people. So unfortunately, that would be something that you'd have to do to make these even, but nobody who's given something wants to give it up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to give up any power. That's why the people in charge are supposed to make you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to give up extra money out of their paycheck so a poor person can go to the hospital. I do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't willing to. That's why somebody in charge has to force you to.
Yeah.
That's what, you know what I mean? I get it. Everyone works hard for their money and they don't want to share it. Yeah. Unfortunately, for this thing to work, you have to.
Yeah.
If you've got a little bit more than everyone else, you have to. That's just kind of how it works.
Which is how all programs work.
Right, exactly, so.
Yeah, and if you're, look, I know that he makes those sorts of arguments because a certain number of people like them. But you can make them without using explicitly right-wing frames on those issues. Like the idea that what's going on is white self-loathing. It's that I as a progressive, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I just hate my skin. That's That's not what's happening. That's what the Daily Wire says. That's what the Daily Caller says, Bill Maher. That's not what actual progressives say. If you had progressives on your show, you might find out about that. Stop surrounding yourself with at best centrist Dems and right wingers. If you spent less time with Barry Weiss and Milo and people like that, you might know how we think rather than how they think.
I feel like this whole segment has become a push to get you on Bill Maher. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, I think pretty much. Okay. And then also just the final point is how many liberals would actually want to pay for reparations? That to me, look, I honestly don't know. I imagine quite a few would be okay with it. Yeah. That to me reads as, I know that we all say we care, but come on. We don't really care that much. Maybe I'm reading too much into his own psychology, but that to me is a revelatory statement. Yeah. It says less about other people and more about him. Anyone who calls out virtue signaling, it's not to say that it doesn't happen. There are some people who virtue signal, but the people who hate virtue signaling, what they hate isn't just the 1% of people who are signaling, it's the other people who have virtue, because those people know that they do not, and they hate seeing their own lack of values reflected in a changing society. That's what I see. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's what comes out of his rant to me. It's not to say that he's wrong on everything, but he keeps coming back to this subject, and it is obviously a self-interested position for him. He's worried about financial repercussions to himself for saying things like, as you point out, when he used the N-word on his own show like a year or two ago.
Right,
I think it's fear, that's all it is. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.